Have you ever had a woman you really like ignore you, send her a text, and watch for her to respond? But all you see is quiet. She posts on the internet, yet she's not responding to you feels awful. Don't you begin to wonder? Did I do something incorrectly in your opinion? Too eager, you even begin to play back each dialogue in your mind. Yet I'm present, to let you know so she won't ignore you. Is about her and not about you. You know what we're going to do with this. Circumstances to your benefit in this today, we will examine the Stoic strategy for regaining your authority by you will know exactly how to flip in the end. The script when she comes and ignores you. Here is the difficult part. We are stronger than ever. In actuality, women test you by disregarding you to observe your response. When they stop talking, it's no coincidence. Al wins if you react emotionally. You remain calm, self-assured, and unfazed. Win today, I'll demonstrate how to. When a woman ignores you, take charge. Not through gaming, but by taking on the role of the strongest type of self-control, of consider this to be the ultimate how to respond stoically to rejection. Let's examine why she is disregarding King. Why it doesn't matter that she might be ignoring you. Why it doesn't matter you, and let's get. It's pretty evident when a woman chooses to disregard you, it frequently feels like an outright assault on your self-esteem. You begin to wonder about your identity. Every action replays every message, wondering what went wrong. But here's the worst part is that it's typically not about you. In the realm of contemporary dating, there are levels of covert agendas in mind games, and people's nuanced power dynamics at work, particularly when courting, are continuously seeking approval to exert control over the feelings of the other individual. Perhaps she's attempting to gauge your level of concern via. She may be exploring how far she can go by ignoring you. She can test your limits to see how you respond. Perhaps she's actually caught up and busy with coworkers, her personal life, or maybe she's simply not as interested in you as you believe she was. Yet this is the reality that changes the game for none of these reasons. Truly matter what matters what. What counts is how you decide to react to. If you're sitting around her quiet, waiting and checking your phone every 5 minutes, pondering her lack of response, you're giving her all of your authority, allowing her to manipulate your feelings during the day over your perception of self-worth, which is just what you refuse to do this, which is where Stoicism comes in, turns becoming your covert weapon due to Stoicism. We learn one important lesson from philosophy. We have no influence over what other people do. But we can always, without fail, regulate our response to it when she disregards you. You avoid falling into the trap of don't let overthinking lead to self-doubt, rather than acknowledge that her actions that are out of your control and concentrate on the one thing you have in plenty. Control over how you react. Take charge of what you can. What do you do when you can manage what you can? When a woman first ignores you, comprehend that Stoicism has a substantial differences in the things you can control and things that are beyond your control authority if she reacts. But you can regulate your reaction when she ignores you. You do nothing instead of chasing. Yes, this isn't about anything. Ignoring her out of spite. This relates to realizing that you are not deterred by her silence. By doing nothing, you regain control. You show that her actions doesn't influence your behavior, your emotions, or your self-assurance when she stops talking. You seem to have lost control, but this is the starting point for your Stoic power. Regulate your feelings, which is the only thing that really counts. This will make guys feel desperate and desperate. Circumstance and send 2 texts or worse irate message inquiring as to why she's not responding, that this is the reverse of what we learn, that Stoicism is about preserving your strength and poise. Whatever occurs, it's about maintaining your dignity while demonstrating to her that she is not necessary for your approval. When you demonstrate to her that you're undisturbed, she begins to question why she will begin to perceive you as unique. Considering the others, let's assume you've been. When you text her, she abruptly stops responding. You're tempted to text someone again. Don't follow up to inquire about what's happening. Show her that you are not impacted if she chooses to ignore you. Okay, you must live your own life, while you don't answer her silence by more neediness you display to her. You demonstrate to her that you're a guy. Under charge of his emotions, consider a circumstance in which you have been abandoned, following a fantastic discussion or date, and all of a sudden, most men would, worried about what I did incorrectly or attempt to regain her affection by sending another message attempting to get her attention again. However, what if you did nothing instead? If, rather than pursuing her, you went to the gym and concentrated on yourself, disregarded her and focused on your objectives. Stillness. This would not only make her insanely curious, but it also develops your self-assurance by taking no action. In fact, you recover complete control. And what if she doesn't get back to you? You've already changed and become better. Yourself during the first shift of the process, return attention to you. Returning to you, here is your first practical measure, and it's among the most crucial actions you might take in place of redirecting every session due to her silence, regaining even a small portion of that focus and energy. Her disregarding you is not an opportunity to spiral, is a golden chance to enhance your own life, to advance in meaningful ways. Now is the moment to make an investment in yourself. Help bolster your body, intellect, and objectives. What does this look like in reality? Get serious about your fitness in the gym. Focus on those individual or career objectives you've been setting off, be it learning a new skill or starting a project you're enthusiastic about immersing yourself in your interests. That illuminate your interior environment yourself with those who encourage you. And the more you value yourself for who you are, invest in your development, and you'll begin to realize that her disregard for you is negligible in the overall context of, in actuality, the more you earn, your top priority is yourself. The more handsome you are, the less for her alone. But for anyone who remembers women, avoid attracting males who pursue after you. Desperate pursuit of them, they're attracted to men who are focused on their own purpose, their own objective, and their own path. Consider a period of your life when you were totally focused on pursue your objectives. Perhaps you were frequently going to the gym and seeing genuine advancement in your quest for fitness, or perhaps you spent a lot of time creating a company working long hours. Giving up something and achieving your goals begin to come to life, or maybe you were getting better at a new skill. During these times each day, messaging alternating with someone who is waiting for you, weren't even considering responses since you were so intent on being the greatest version of you. That's the vitality. That's the attitude you must adopt. Each and every connection and exchange. When you put yourself first, you take action, objectives, and your contentment. Others can detect it and speculate as to what they'll be attracted to you, including her, naturally. She will question what has changed and why you're not responding, so why are you suddenly even more appealing? And all of this occurs since you created the use reverse for focus number 2. The psychology of reverse psychology in reverse. You might have been aware of this in the dating world, and although it's frequently, when abused, it can be very potent. When used appropriately, when she disregards, you ignore her and don't pursue her. But the twist is to sort of ignore her. That demonstrates your lack of resentment. Playing games isn't what it's about. Displaying power the instant you stop looking for her approval right now. You demonstrate that her silence is powerless. Over for you, she begins to question why. This is crucial when you cease providing her with the she expects you to pay attention and move the whole dynamic, which returns you to the driver's seat without using deceptive tactics. However, by demonstrating that you're not governed by your feelings or her acts, keep in mind that it's not about who, it's about who maintains control when texts initially. Imagine that you've sent her several texts repeatedly and she hasn't replied, so you're tempted to text again, or even worse, inquire as to why she is avoiding you. Don't send 2 texts at once or getting upset, do nothing, and let it go. Do not give her any of your life, more vigor, and share photos of you out working or going to the gym with pals on your objectives. But don't get in touch with. She will soon begin to question why. Did I lose him, or is he still pursuing me? Has he moved on and started chatting to someone else? As well as when she contacts you, and she will ultimately react coolly and with a small amount of emotional commitment doesn't yield. Don't inquire as to why she neglected her quiet. You simply reply as though nothing had occurred. Dynamic, you have now changed the power entirely to your advantage without even raising a finger that hasn't caused you to respond. Her bait, which causes you to show up assured, powerful, and most crucially, the power lies in being emotionally in control. In reverse, the third piece of psychology advice is to remain composed and remain calm and unconcerned. Ignored one of the most significant errors. When a lady disregards them, males make losing their composure and beginning to feel worried, irritated, or even furious, and I can assure you that this is just what you wish to prevent losing your calmness. You give all authority to she is able to perceive your feelings, instability, and it allows her to take charge of the stoic reaction to this circumstance is crystal clear, remain composed and at ease, and don't allow anything to frighten you. Regardless of what she does, your attitude must be that of an individual who is emotionally and practically centered. This isn't about acting untouchable. You don't give a damn. It's really not allowing her behavior to determine your. When you are able to master this emotional state degree of emotional regulation, you'll observe that in addition to feeling better, additionally, you'll become far more. Women in particular are appealing. Attracted to peaceful people by nature self-assurance that isn't readily shaken by the small hiccups that occur throughout life, viewing them over time, serenity demonstrates power, and power is the next time she ignores you, you can't withstand the temptation to respond emotionally or immediately. Instead, inhale deeply. Take a moment to reflect on this. Her behavior doesn't define your worth or value as an individual. You are the one who determines your feelings, not her. Rather than highlighting or replaying each dialogue in your mind, select in anything that makes you feel more calmly, run for a long time to let go of whatever. Let out some music to release pent-up rage. That gives you a sense of unstoppable plunge into an undertaking that's been requesting your time and attention and losing. You're working productively. This is what's happening. You're taking command of the circumstance by changing. Turn your attention away from her and return to yourself. And by doing this, demonstrate to her your emotional strength. You are not dependent on her answers. And more significantly, you reaffirm yourself, which you are in charge of your personal emotional encounter. Of that type is captivating, and when she notices that she hasn't influenced you, she will begin to question you if you ignore her. Why she lacks the impact that she anticipated on you, at which point the power. The fourth shift separates from the regaining control by distancing yourself from the result. This is the ultimate stoic action. Distance herself from the result, whether she decides if she likes you or not. Not your tranquility is preserved. This is real strength when you give up on the result of releasing yourself from the dating is an emotional roller coaster. Detachment does not imply indifference. About her, it indicates that you are more interested in your personal health rather than whether or not she provides you with. Paying attention to this mentality change is essential. If you wish to regain authority when you leave a relationship, you stop putting your contentment and sense of value in. You recover it in someone else's hands. Control of your feelings and your life. In actuality, after you separate, you no longer stop worrying about her thoughts. Why is she not doing what she is doing? In response, you become composed and in charge of oneself, ladies, or anybody else are attracted to individuals who are not desperately looking for approval. Distancing oneself from the result demonstrates that you have enough self-respect to leave. Out of any circumstance that doesn't assist you in ceasing to feel dependent on nervous. And as a result, you turn into somebody she admires and is more likely to pursue. Consider a scenario in which you were too invested in the result. If it was a date, a job interview, or the more you were concerned about how, the more anxious things would turn out. Your mind would start racing, reenacting events and visualizing the worst-case scenario. Imagine now that all of that noise has been released. Imagine yourself being at ease with any result, understanding that whatever occurs, you'll be all right. This is the fundamental idea of Stoic detachment is adopting the attitude that whatever occurs because it is supposed to, and your peace does not rely on the deeds or views of other people when you can actually ignore whether or not she answers. As you gain freedom, you stop feeling the require to pursue, look for, or confirm yourself by her behavior, and when When you're at liberty, you become immensely appealing independence from results demonstrates confidence is what attracts people. People in it are trying to show the world. Tell yourself that you're not happy depend on outside verification, but on internal control and stability. Here's the result of a woman ignoring you. In conclusion, the majority of men panic and chase. Overanalyzing causes them to lose control, but not you. You now have the tools, but not after today. The mentality and understanding to reverse the script when she doesn't pay attention to you. Your chance to demonstrate that you're distinct from what you're unfazed. You take action rather than reacting control. You're composed, self-assured, and in control over your feelings. And you know what? That enhances your appearance. In addition to but more potent in all facets of your life, consider how many men do it. You know who let their feelings to rule them? How many of them are currently spiraling? You won't be ignored if they are. It's you who will be the one who remains calm and concentrates on himself and who abandons the necessity for validation is more than merely dealing with a woman who ignores you, is about when you conquer your life, you will also master your feelings to which you are no longer subject thoughts, acts, or decisions of others. The fact that you are free is people appreciate magnetic women because they notice it. Most significantly, you sense it from, don't just play the game now, master of the dating game. You may be the man in control at all times if this message struck a chord with you. It's time to move on to the following step. Don't just leave this alone. Video and disregard all of your learn to act immediately. Click the subscribe button to become a member of men who are dedicated to being proficient in their feelings, their connections, and their people. Don't wait for her to return. Disregards you in order to begin developing oneself. Start up now. Nowadays, dating isn't the only thing involved. Guidance on how to become a guy. It's supposed to be you who doesn't react but assumes command,